Welcome to Simply Caroline, a podcast dedicated to women empowerment where we will discuss a bunch of different subjects such as life, parenting, love, business, money, relationships, healing, recovery, addiction, entrepreneurship, and so much more. A podcast I'll do my best to keep simple, fun, and relatable and bring you tools to help you better your life. So thank you for being here. And here's your host, myself, Caroline Blanchard. Hello, everyone, and thank you again for being with us this week. This week, I have a subject, like a person who's talking about a subject that absolutely, mesmerized me. It's mind whispering. So, Dawna Campbell, hi, and welcome to Simply Caroline.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me here today. It is a pleasure to be with you.
It's an honor for us to have you. So yes, you are a mind whisperer, and I don't know how many times I've wished in my life that I was one, especially as a parent. You're like, oh my goodness, if I could understand. I've heard about like horse whisperers, dog whisperers, but I've never heard about human whisperers. So tell us a little bit, like, what exactly is a mind whisperer?
Yes. Every one of us really has this skill set. I don't know that everyone has the awareness that you also have this ability within you. But just like a dog whisperer or a horse whisperer, when there's behaviors within the animal that need to be corrected because they learned it a certain way, a horse whisperer or a dog whisperer can go in and shift and change that energy and teach them something different to override what got programmed. I'm doing the same thing, except I work with people, humans, and we are reprogramming different parts of their mind. So each and every one of us has a thought, and those thoughts magnetically attract back to us, not what we're thinking, but what we are feeling on the inside. So when I listen to people, I don't only just listen to their words and what they're saying, I listen to how they are saying it and the feelings that get associated underneath it. And then it's the feelings that can change to a different frequency. So say you're speaking, but I hear sadness or loneliness or, there might be frustration, for example. When we hear that and it's there, then what we can do is reprogram it to a higher feeling frequency like happiness or joy or peace or prosperity. And when that transition and takes happen, what you feel in the heart space is in alignment more with your thoughts, and you have instant creation 100% of the time. So I'm starting with your thoughts, and we find the thought under the thought under the thought back to an originating thought. And then that's where we change the energy, because that's going to give us the greatest magnitude of change. And so simply, that's what mind whispering is.
That's incredible. And, you're so right. I know, you are right. I can confirm this, but I've read a lot on the law of attraction and everything. And yes, it's so difficult, like for someone like me, let's say, to really align your feelings with what you're trying to attract or your thoughts. And that's where everyone goes wrong, because, you can repeat to yourself, like, I don't know, I'm attracting abundance. But if you repeat it, but it's always while you're feeling the fear of like, oh my goodness, my budget is not working this month and this and that, you're attracting something different than you're actually putting out there. And I think that that's where it's hard for us to really align ourselves. And that's where we need someone like you to really guide us and coach us through the whole, process. So tell me, like, if I would come to see you today, like, what would be the process?
Well, first, I'm going to say you're absolutely right with everything that you just got done sharing, because in order for something to change while saying it, you have to say your affirmation 300 to 400 times a day for like 3 to 4 months for really to get the feeling to go in on a conscious level. And then we read books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or even Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so we think the law of attraction, our thoughts create our reality. True. But when you really read in the book and look at it deeper, you will see that it talks about the feelings and emotions need to be in alignment with the thoughts, which is the law of magnetism. So, what does this process look like for you to shift and change for you? Well, I have certain key questions that I ask to be able to get to the heart of the matter really quickly. After about 15 years, you can kind of zero in of the commonalities, even with an international practice. And so we start with what it is that you want to work on, what that you want to change. And maybe it's having more abundance in your life. So first, I want to understand what it feels like not having that abundance. And then we can identify the feeling. We can see where the feeling is stuck in the body, because you will feel it somewhere inside of you. And then we can go back to an originating event of where that feeling first started for you. Usually it's when you're little, somewhere between 1 and age 9. And we can understand the event that happened, that took place, where that feeling got stuck in the subconscious. Because what that did was that feeling created an automated mind loop pattern. It just kept recreating scenario over and over again. And when we can uncover what that is, we can also uncover what you really needed, the better feeling and emotion, not say frustration or that you weren't enough or you had to be embarrassed by money or anything like that. So we uncover what it was that is needed. And through various techniques, we can make that energy exchange in the brain. And when that happens, you have a different neuron pathway in the brain for it to create, because we overrided the feeling to the event. Now, the events never change, but how you look at it, how you feel about it, the perception of it will be completely different. And then we go back through the checkpoints. We review the event a couple of times to make sure everything is exactly how it needs to be. We go back, we recheck what was in the body. That will shift and change, which is confirmation for you that a physiological change took place in your body. And then, as if by magic, you keep doing what you're doing, but the feeling underneath the thought is different. So you magnetically attract back to you a different reality. And most people have more focus, more clarity, more balance. They feel better, they're lighter, they're happier after they go through the process.
Yes, and I can hear some listeners thinking, well, that sounds so simple, but if it was that simple, everyone would be happy. And I have to say that, I had that very limiting belief as well.
Mm-hmm.
Before, and now it's leaving me like year after year. It's just like becoming so weaker, like it's a weaker feeling. But it's really like, for me, I was raised into, money is really hard to earn. I was born for a small bread. The neighbors will have it, but we can't. So I was really raised into a box of there's so much. And then when these resources are distributed, there's not enough left for you. So it's everything that is, all of the opposite of abundance. So when I hear something like that, my brain naturally really goes fast to too simple to be true. But the fact is, it's really like your brain pathways that just needs to be redesigned, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And I grew up very similarly. You had to work hard for your money. And because my family didn't have a lot of money, then money was an embarrassment. So I was taught never to talk about money. And it was only a topic between you and your husband, and nobody else is to know. And that was a lot of programming when I was little. And for me to go out on stage and say, let's talk about money. I had to go through this whole process myself and make my own shifts and changes to be able to be comfortable in talking and sharing this truth that I've learned over the last 25 years of, yes, it is that easy. It is that simple, especially when you learn how. And after 15 years, after figuring out the process and how to do it, I just didn't give up with in my life. I'm pretty stubborn that way, in a good way. I now have the ability. I can not only do it for you, I can teach it to you, and I can do it for myself. So each person, some people just want it done for them. Others want to learn how to do it, and I can share it openly.
That's beautiful. And that brings me to my next question. What, it's rare that when you're little, you're like, I'm going to be a mind whisperer. So
Right.
what brought you to this journey of being on that path?
Oh my goodness. There were so many different little events in my life that led to a big event to bring it. And the reason why I'm called a mind whisperer out in the world is because, like with you, I was asked, what do you do and how do you do it? And so I shared it. And the person looked at me and went, I have no idea what you just said, but you're a mind whisperer. And it stuck ever since. So it wasn't something that I thought about, oh, I'm going to be a mind whisperer when I grow up. I had no idea. So it was a way to describe what I do for people. Really, what I wanted to do when I was little was, I wanted to join Greenpeace and save the whales. But it was during the time that that women could become anything in the world. And my mom had a different set of opinions. And she thought I should be a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist or something, because it was like the first time that women could have a career in a man's world. And it was an opportunity that wasn't offered to her, that was offered to me. So she wanted something more for me. But what that really did for me was create resentment. It wasn't who I was. I wasn't living my life authentically. So I learned that when my mom asked me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would say like, well, I think I'll be a teacher or a veterinarian or something. But I would happily skip down the street thinking, wow, I think I'm going to travel the world. We're going to read palms and crystal balls. Oh, look, shiny rock over here. Because that's where I was. Throughout my course of life, I got really passionate about having opportunities, not only for myself, but for other people around money to create it. Because I learned very quickly, if I wanted something, I had to work for it. I had to earn it. I had to go get my own job. And I did those things, but wouldn't there be an easier way? So I became a financial advisor and a managing principal of an investment firm. And I was responsible for $500 million of other people's money.
Wow.
Which broke down my health. I had such stress with it. I couldn't digest food for over 2 years, which I learned was not, it turned into a physical component, but it started with an emotional way, which is why doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. My marriage ended after 14 years because of the infidelity, and that was not within my value system. So I left. And then when I went to re-enter the workforce, I took a year off studying. Nobody was hiring. It was the global recession. And I was left financially devastated raising 2 small children, even though I followed all the money rules. So all of those things, all of those events led me to, I am what's in common with all of these. So what is it about me that I need to look at and change? And then natural healers, other people came into my life, shared with me, taught me what they knew. And it's just flowed ever since. And I've implemented it, and more has come to what has grown into this mind whispering.
That's, it's incredible, because I feel that when we dig a little and we talk with amazing people like you that now have like incredible success and are helping like thousands of people, there's a story that quite often brings you, like you will go somewhere and touch your bottom at some place. And quite often it's because of touching that bottom that it gives you the strength to actually, you experience something. So then you want to share it with people. And that, I just find it's a very common link to, people that do amazing things. It's because they actually went through it themselves. And that's what I really like about you too. It's because when we speak to you, we know you didn't just...
I've been through it, and I've been through more than what I've just shared.
Yes.
And I'm an open book, so I happily share it.
Yeah. And for me, you just said like I was responsible of 500 million of people's money. My stomach went in a knot in a second. I was just like, how could she sleep at night? I would have been up.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's such a huge, talk about responsibility and pressure and burden. Wow. Yes. So anyway.
And then I had a family life. I had 2 children under the age of 5 that I was raising. My husband was a pilot, so he was always gone. And I've been there.
Well, first of all, like congratulations to you for, getting back up and,
Yes.
not only, getting yourself an amazing life, but also now that's what you're actually sharing with everyone. And I want to talk about one of the programs that you're offering
Mhm. Yes.
because, it's a program that anyone can get and
Mhm.
you can do it from the comfort of your house and it
Yes.
will really help. So it's the infinite prosperity system.
Yes, it
Please
is.
share with us.
Yes, I'm going to show a picture here of it. It's the
Yeah.
Infinite Prosperity System, 3 steps to instant money creation. And what this is a teaching that's done by video, delivered to you digitally with all of the different steps of understanding the basis of what we're talking about. So the first point is the emotional side of money. And we talk about that and what that means and how money is emotional, shutting down those self-sabotaging thoughts. And then what are the 3 keys to opening up those prosperity doors? But it's all based on the different feelings, the energy, where it gets stuck in the body. And then at the end, there's some bonuses where I share with you a few tips of how to consciously start making some changes until you're ready to go into that deep subconscious dive. But just by having this, everything in your life, at least that conscious awareness, should start improving vibrationally for you and allowing you to become more in alignment to creating abundance and a prosperity. Because I truly believe, after some other events in my life, that because we're here and that we're living, we are meant to live this life, that we're worthy to live this life, and we're worthy to live it abundantly and prosperously. Now, what that looks like for each person might be a little bit different, but each and every one of us are truly, truly worthy of that. And I don't think anyone's going to convince me different in today.
Yes, and I can't wait to have your belief 100%, because I still have to repeat to myself,
Mhm.
like often, it is possible to be this happy. And
It is.
it is possible to be that rich,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
really repeating it to myself. And I'm 47. So, I mean, by now I should know. But it's like you said, it's like it's ingrained in us so young. And
Right.
this is constant work as well, and I feel like that's one thing that I want to share with everyone. It is constant work. It's not something
Mhm.
that you do one day and then boom, you're okay.
Right.
It's like boom, your paths will change and you will become better,
Mhm.
but you still have work to do. It's like going to the gym. You don't go and work out and be like, okay, I'm toned now, so I can stop the gym. Like we
Mhm.
know the gym, you need to keep
Mhm.
going for the
Right.
rest of your life if you want to
It's
keep.
a new muscle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So it's the same with our mind,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that if you don't keep consciously working on it,
Mhm.
it drifts away as well.
Right. Right. And that's absolutely true. And what the beauty of this work does, when I work with my clients privately, I do a minimum of 3 sessions. I used to just do 1 session with them, but then I never got the feedback. So I always want to do a minimum of 3 because the first time around, we're going back to the early childhood and repositioning what happened energetically and creating that change. Well, the next 2 sessions, we follow up to see how those changes respond and react in our life. And then we know if there's something else that we need to shift, change, and clear. Or if everything's good, we can start looking at what we want to create in the future. And we start bringing the future qualities and energies into now. So we have it today, not in 4 months, not we're an instant society anymore. And so that's the pattern that I use. And just like what you were saying, it's about peeling off those layers of an onion because our brain is so complex. So when you make one change in one area, something else over here might surface over time. So yes, we have to go back and revisit that and make those applicable changes as well. But as those layers of the onion come off, what we're doing is we're putting on petals of a lotus flower, building all of the good things to come because we have to replace it with something. And if we're going to take something out, we might as well replace it with the best. And that's how I think.
Absolutely. And it is possible, people. It
Yes.
is possible. Like I know that some people right now are listening and they're like, I feel like, you're at a point in your life where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but
Mm-hmm.
there's always a light, and it is possible. It's just like, first of all, you need to believe that there is a light. There's a switch at the end that you will
Mm-hmm.
actually turn on. So continuing, you also have an amazing book out there.
Yes.
Talk to us about your book a little.
Yes. So it's called Financially Fit, Living the Secrets to an Abundant and Prosperous Life. And what it's designed to do is gives you a really good foundation of how, well, it shares my personal story, but also how money responds in your life. And that money is an energy on the outside, but yet it's not inside of you, but we think that money is part of our essence because the energies are the same. Our words that we use are the same. So I share some of the truths that I've learned between the financial planning world and the mind whispering world. And clients, when they got to the heart of the issue, they would say things like, I want to know that I'm worthy or that I'm valued and appreciated because I didn't get that when I was little. And those are the same words we used in the financial planning world. Here's your net worth. Your portfolio value is your assets appreciated. Oh, do you have enough money to fund XYZ goal? And if you didn't feel like you were enough on the inside, you probably didn't have enough on the outside to fund your goals. Well, that all comes back down to our divine essence. So once we have that understanding that happiness is on the inside of us, not on the outside, we start showing you how to go through, look at some things in the past of how things got stuck growing up. And then the middle part of the book, we talk about self-sabotaging thoughts, opening prosperity doors, and how it works. This, the infinite prosperity system is more in depth on that part of the topic. And then it talks about creation and manifestation and really how to start being today, moving forward, creating the way we want to create. And at the end of the book, we're showing you how to write and do your own client affluent story, your own wealth affluence, your new paradigm that you want to live by. So the book is the structure, the foundation to all of that. And then I teach everything that's in the book through the Financially Fit program, which is a 2-day interactive course that I teach online.
I want to take that course. So sidebar, I always love to take different courses. Mm-hmm. It's just like you always have something to go gain out of different teachings. Mm-hmm. And what I really like about you is that you've experienced the financial world as like, you know, the stressed world and everything, like the real world, I should say. Yes. And now you also know how to integrate that and being more mindful about it and being different because, you know, I've heard that too. Like I know some people, you know, for people who don't have money, quite often you'll think like, oh, when I have money, mm-hmm. this is going to be so much better. And these issues are not going to be there anymore. And this is blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to think this of myself, but it's not true. Like a lot of millionaires actually are not feeling that great. And, you know, they can have all the millions that we think we would want. But if you don't fix the inside, even if you have everything on the outside, it's not going to, you know, yes, you won't have the financial stress, but the inner peace is still not there. And, you know, just like you said, like when you have clients saying, am I worthy of having this? Yes. You know, these are like such common blocks. In the business that I have, you know, it took me years to understand when I was coaching someone in business, mm-hmm. you stop focusing only on the business part of it, you know, do those 4 steps and do this and do that, into like, what's the underlying feeling? Because quite often we stop ourselves, you know, to go to the next level or the next rank or the next paycheck because unconsciously we're like, it's not for me. And we don't even know, you know, and I'm sure that it's a huge common thing with your clients.
Yes. And it doesn't matter how much or how little you have with money, the issues are always the same. I know people who have like not a lot of money, but they are truly, truly happy. I know a lot of people who don't have a lot of money that are not happy. And I know multimillionaires that go, I have all this money. I can buy anything in the world that I want. I can do anything. I can go on vacation. I can do all this stuff, but I still don't know what makes me happy. So the issues are exactly the same. Money is not the The issue is how you really truly feel on the inside. And when that changes, what generally happens is you attract more abundance and prosperity into your life. And money is part of that abundance and prosperity, not the whole thing, because your health will increase, your relationships will become better. And all of those areas, it's all aspects of your life will become abundant and prosperous. And you really truly become rich, not just rich monetarily, that's only one aspect, but even rich in spirit, rich in relationship, rich in health. So it's all, not just one, but we use money as an aspect because it is so intimately tied to who we are based on our society and the cultural and the social conditioning we've been through.
Absolutely. And yes, I'm glad that you touched on that, because quite often when we talk about abundance and prosperity, we think money, but it's in every single
Everything.
aspects of our life. It's in the aspect of happiness, love, this and that. So it's really attracting abundance and prosperity is for a better life in general. And Dawna, I have to say, you have a beautiful voice. I could just listen
Thank
to you
you.
for so long. So, people who will get the infinite prosperity system, well, you will hear that nice voice the whole time. So it's very calming and grounding. So Dawna, before we closed this episode today, we did an exercise together because, yes, I'm going to admit it. This morning, I was very scattered. My brain was very scattered. And, I was talking with Dawna pre-interview and I could not focus. And I was just like, okay, this is not okay. And she actually, made a little exercise with me that really helped. And it was a 2-minute exercise. Can you give that tip to all of the listeners? Because it's really, I heard it before, but said so differently. And this morning it really clicked. I was like, wow, that was simple.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. This is an exercise that one of my teachers have taught me. They were over in India, and it's really designed to allow yourself to focus your energy. And what happens is we get fragmented when we're scattered or we're thinking all of these other thoughts. And what we want to do is bring it back together. So what he had me do was a breathing technique. And when we breathe in, we're breathing in the oxygen, all of the good things that our body needs. And when we breathe out carbon dioxide, all the toxins and the things we don't need. But what he has me do is when I breathe in the positive word, what I want. And this morning we used the word focus. And then we breathe out what we don't want, scattered. And you do that for just a couple of minutes, and you breathe in, focus, breathe out, scattered. And you repeat and keep doing that. I share, do it 3, 4, 5 minutes if you can. My instructor has me do it for 15 minutes a day, which really puts me into a deep meditative state. And I forget that I'm thinking words. But what it does is it refocuses yourself. You have more clarity, you have more balance, and you start to feel that physiological change in your body. So anytime you feel worried or stressed or frustrated or anxiety or depression, the awareness is the key. Stop yourself and ask, what would you rather feel? And then you just do that breathing exercise. It will consciously change everything in the moment. It's not reprogramming the subconscious, but it is a really good way to refocus the energy. So if you're saying affirmations, I'm rich and abundant, and you breathe out, I feel lack. You can do that. So any combination of words fit. Kindness, bitterness, breathe in peace, breathe out stress, whatever sets of words you have, as long as they're the opposites of what you want.
And it's magical, people. Do it. I dare you to try it. And especially for me, I was in a stressed moment this morning. I don't even know why, probably because I only had one coffee and, it was not even warm, but there was absolutely no reason. And it just brought back my focus in 2 minutes. And I was just like, wow, we need to bring that into the interview. So really, take note, have this exercise close, and I will actually, try to do it on a daily, and I will not say try, I will do it on a daily basis because I just find that it's simple and it's powerful. So Dawna, what would you leave our listeners with?
Yes. I'm going to share a mantra that I wrote during all of those difficult times that I shared, my digestion, my health, my relationships, my money stuff. And what I wrote, and I actually read this a lot to myself, doing what we do, and I still repeat this to this day. And it is: trust and you will see, believe and you will know, have faith, all is well, follow your heart and spirit will lead you.
Goosebumps.
Simple.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Dawna Campbell, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I will put your information on how to reach you and your book title and your program title. So people, if you want to have all this information, just look at the information with the podcast. Dawna, it was an honor to have you. Thank you so much. And to everyone, thank you for being here this week again, and we'll see you next week.